Have you ever had an ex-partner cause you trouble? You know, a little drama, maybe a few awkward run-ins. Now imagine if that trouble escalated so much that they vanished, poop into thin air. And suddenly, you became the prime suspect in a murder investigation.
Mm.
That, my friend, is precisely the whirlwind we're about to jump into today. Welcome to the deep dive. We take your sources, distill them down, make sure you walk away well-informed and hopefully thoroughly entertained. Today, we're plunging into Lean Mean 13. It's the 13th book in Janet Evanovich's super popular Stephanie Plum mystery comedy series. And this isn't just, another whodunit. It's chaotic, it's laugh out loud, and our heroine, she's in deeper trouble than ever before. We'll unpack the twists, the really quirky characters, that enduring love triangle. Oh, boy.
Cool.
And the danger, it really ramps up here. This deep dive is great for fans, but also, honestly, a perfect intro if you're new. You'll get a clear picture of how Stephanie Plum navigates being hunted by, well, everyone in the law, ruthless criminals, all while trying to clear her name. So get ready for a shortcut to understanding why this blend of crime, comedy, and frankly offbeat romance keeps readers hooked. You might just find your next favorite series. Okay, so for anyone new to Stephanie Plum, let's quickly unpack who she is. She's not your typical heroine. Picture a bounty hunter from Trenton, New Jersey. She has this almost supernatural knack for getting into trouble, but somehow she always kind of lands on her feet. Her life's a constant juggle, quirky family drama, Grandma Mazur, need I say more? And then there's her love life, super complicated, torn between two very different, very compelling men. She's relatable, right? Often broke, always has car trouble, makes some questionable choices, but her heart's usually in the right place.
That's a great summary. And what's really key in Lean Mean 13 is how it takes Stephanie's usual level of chaos and just cranks it way up. Normally she's chasing Skip's people who jump bail. That's her day job, right?
Right.
But this time, the tables are completely turned. She's not the hunter. She's the one being investigated for murder. It immediately sets this much higher, intensely personal stake for her, which makes her usual disastrous methods, the accidental stumbling into clues. It makes it all even more compelling. And honestly, funnier in a dark way. She's fighting for her freedom, her reputation, maybe even her life.
And it gets complicated fast right from the get-go. This whole mess really kicks off with her sleazy ex-husband, Dickie Orr, reappearing. Their marriage, years ago, a total disaster. Start to finish, we're talking cheating, belittling, just making her life miserable. So yeah, not her favorite person.
Exactly. And this isn't some friendly catch-up. Ranger, the mysterious, super competent, always smoldering bounty hunter in her life.
Yeah.
He asks her for this really unusual favor. He thinks Dickie's into some serious shady stuff. And he needs Stephanie to plant a small listening device, a bug, in Dickie's office. Ranger's kind of vague about the details, the danger, but Stephanie, well, she agrees. Partly loyalty to Ranger, sure, but also, let's be real, partly for the sheer joy of messing with her ex.
Oh yeah, that's pure Stephanie, a simple task. You just know it's going to go sideways, and boy does it. The casual visit, it just completely devolves. You can just picture it. Years of resentment simmering, Dickie being his usual smug self. And before she knows it, tempers flare. Old arguments pop up, and then bam! She's screaming. She's actually, physically shoving him around his office, all in front of witnesses. Not exactly subtle.
Terrible timing.
Yeah.
Terrible optics. But what's really crucial here, and I think where Evanovich cleverly raises the stakes, is how quickly that very public, very embarrassing fight turns her from just an angry ex-wife into the prime suspect.
Yeah.
Dickie vanishes right after. It's a classic setup, right? But for Stephanie, it's her absolute worst nightmare. She's usually causing the trouble, maybe chasing it, not having it land squarely on her like this. It raises that question. What happens when a messy personal fight becomes the last known sighting? It looks bad, really bad.
Absolutely. And you have to wonder, how much is actual evidence versus just convenience? An angry ex is an easy target because as soon as Dickie's disappearance hits the news, boom, Stephanie's life is flipped upside down. The police, they connect the dots fast. Angry ex-wife, public fight, guy disappears, easy math for them. Result, Stephanie's #1 on the suspect list. Public enemy #1 practically in Trenton PD's eyes.
Right. But connecting this to the bigger picture, it's not just the police she has to worry about. That would almost be manageable for her. Dickie, being Dickie, wasn't just sleazy. He was involved in something much bigger, much more dangerous. His old business partners, these three absolutely ruthless guys, lots of money, even more secrets, zero conscience. They are convinced Stephanie knows more than she's saying. They think Dickie left something behind.
Something valuable.
Millions, probably. And they think she knows where it is or has it, so they start leaning on her. Threats, intimidation.
Yeah.
It gets physical. It
Yeah.
escalates her situation from just a police investigation into this really dangerous game of cat and mouse. She's fighting for her freedom and her survival against people who absolutely do not play fair. The danger gets very real, very fast.
Okay, so law on one side, dangerous criminals on the other. She's really squeezed here. But Stephanie's never completely alone in the chaos, is she? She has her unique backup. Who steps up or maybe stumbles in to help her out this time?
She definitely has her trademark crew. First up, Lula. Best friend, partner in crime.
Yeah.
Literally, sometimes.
Yeah.
Former file clerk turned bounty hunter apprentice. She lives life loud, tight clothes, big hair, even bigger opinions. And a gun she loves to wave around, maybe not always safely.
Oh, Lula.
Lula insists on helping, always, but her methods often cause more explosions, sometimes literally, than solutions. Like in this book, there's a scene where Lula tries to blend in on a stakeout, a leopard print jumpsuit. And she accidentally sets off a car alarm with her giant purse. Draws exactly the wrong kind of attention.
Perfect, Lula. Good intentions, disastrous execution.
Exactly. That's her brand of help. Invaluable, yet often destructive.
And then you absolutely cannot forget Grandma Mazur, Stephanie's grandmother, who has a unique fascination with funeral homes. Still feisty, still providing the comic relief. Even when things get really dark, she'll just barge into crime scenes, gossip about suspects like she's at a bingo game. Reminds everyone that being old doesn't mean you stop being nosy or mischievous. She's a force of nature.
She really is. Can you imagine your 90-year-old grandma insisting on coming with you to a known mob hangout because she saw it on TV and thought it looked interesting? That's Grandma Mazur.
Oh, my God.
It's completely absurd, yet somehow essential to the story's charm. Yeah. So this trio, Stephanie, Lula, Grandma Mazur, they just dive headfirst into the mess.
Yeah.
They blunder through investigations, clash with bad guys in the most bizarre ways, and just attract more chaos. They're a team, a highly flammable team maybe, but a team. And they're dynamic. That's a huge part of why people love these books.
Absolutely. And beyond the explosions and the questionable detective work, there's that other constant thread, the emotional core almost. Stephanie's incredibly complicated love life, it's always there. On one side, you've got Joe Morelli, the cop, her on-again, off-again boyfriend since forever. He's charming, he's sarcastic, he knows her inside out, deep ties there, even if they fight like crazy. He's kind of home base, maybe, but a shaky one.
A very shaky one. And then on the other side, there's Ranger. Mysterious.
Sleek.
Impossibly competent. Just cool. Ranger isn't really a boyfriend in the traditional sense. He's more like this enigma, the shadowy protector who shows up when she's in real danger.
Yeah.
But the chemistry between them, it just simmers. Every single scene, it's this dangerous, undeniable pull.
He represents the wild side, maybe.
Exactly. The forbidden fruit. The thrill she can't quite resist. And it's fascinating how these two men offer such different things, pulling her in opposite directions.
And Lean Meme 13 really puts that dynamic front and center, doesn't it? Both Morelli and Ranger play crucial roles. Morelli steps in with police resources, practical help. He warns her, worries about her, tries to keep her grounded, maybe pull her back from the edge.
Yeah, he uses his badge to help, but also his, personal connection.
Right. Meanwhile, Ranger provides that shadowy protection, cryptic advice, high-level security that only he can manage. He's always there, just out of sight, anticipating the next threat before she even sees it. So Stephanie finds herself bouncing between their worlds, relying on both, never quite able to choose. And maybe, deep down, she doesn't want to choose. That unresolved tension is part of the series' addictive quality, isn't it?
Definitely keeps you reading. And as Stephanie starts digging, using her unique, let's call it accidental detective work, she finds out Dickie wasn't just an annoying ex. He was tied into something much, much bigger.
Yeah.
And way more dangerous. She uncovers these connections to three men who, frankly, make even seasoned criminals nervous. The threat level just skyrockets.
And these aren't your average street thugs, are they? Dickie was swimming with sharks. First, there's Alexander Korda, sort of a slick, intimidating figure. Ties to organized crime. His name alone carries weight. He's not the type for empty threats. His presence means business. Serious business.
Right. Then you have the gunslinger goons. Less subtle.
Yeah, less talk, more action. A trio of enforcers who are basically a wrecking crew. They leave destruction wherever they go. Pure muscle.
And finally, maybe the most dangerous, because he's so hidden at first, is this shadowy figure called the Silent Investor. His identity is a mystery for a while, but his potential losses from Dickie's schemes, huge, millions. That makes him incredibly motivated, and operating from the shadows makes him unpredictable.
Wow, so that's who's after her. Corda, the goons, the investor.
It's a genuinely formidable lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all convinced Stephanie holds the key to Dickie's hidden fortune. They think she knows where the millions are stashed. And they will stop at absolutely nothing to squeeze that information out of her. It creates this constant, suffocating sense of peril throughout the book. It's not just implied danger. It's real, boots-on-the-ground threats she's constantly dodging, often barely.
And the threats pile up fast, in classic Stephanie Plum fashion, right? Usually with hilarious, if destructive, results. Her car, naturally, does not make it through the book intact.
Does it ever?
Never. Blown up, stolen, driven into something. It's a running gag, but also shows the danger. Thugs are chasing her through Trenton, cue the frantic, often ridiculous escapes.
Yeah.
Lula, bless her heart, manages to turn simple encounters into these slapstick shootouts, usually involving property damage.
Usually involving unexpected property damage.
Right, and Grandma Mazur nearly gets them all killed, deciding to tag along for research. Her morbid curiosity puts them in unbelievably dangerous spots.
Situations only a 90-year-old with a death wish would think are a good idea. It's this relentless mix of high-stakes peril and pure absurdity.
So through all this, she's caught, pinned between the law, who thinks she's a killer, and these ruthless criminals who think she has their money.
Exactly. But she's got Morelli offering police insights and that protective instinct, and Ranger providing the covert intel, the timely, often silent, rescues. And slowly, piece by piece, Stephanie starts connecting the dots. The key thing she uncovers is that Dickie was deep into this massive fraudulent scheme with his partners, skimming millions, hiding it away.
Okay, so the motive becomes clearer.
Right. The big question then becomes, did Dickie try to run with the money when he felt the heat? Or did his partner silence him first to keep the cash and the secrets?
And Stephanie's investigation methods are, well, or something else. Disguises, usually terrible. Sneaking around warehouses, usually ends with her getting caught. Chasing down half-baked tips from totally unreliable sources. Yep, that's her style.
She's not exactly Sherlock Holmes.
Not even close. She's more like a magnet for mayhem. But that's why we love her, isn't it? She's brave, she's flawed, she's incredibly stubborn, she just refuses to give up, even if it means stumbling and bumbling her way through until somehow miraculously she finds the answers. She's like us, just with more explosions.
And eventually, through that unique combination of, accidental genius and pure stubbornness, the truth does come out. Dickie's disappearance is absolutely tied to that hidden money. All those millions, his partner, surprise, surprise, turn on him. Classic criminal betrayal.
Figures.
But not before Dickie, maybe accidentally, maybe intentionally, left a trail. Clues that point right to their schemes. And Stephanie, partly through her own clumsy efforts, partly thanks to Lula's chaos and Ranger's assists, becomes the unlikely key to unlocking the whole thing. It really shows how sometimes the messiest approach is the one that gets you there.
The climax then pulls it all together. Right, all the threads. The thugs, the betrayals, Stephanie desperately trying to clear her name. It sounds like a signature Evanovich finale. Probably involves Lula doing something crazy.
Oh, definitely. More shouting than accurate shooting, probably, but maximum disruption.
Ranger showing up just in the nick of time, almost supernaturally.
Like he always does. Perfectly timed, minimal fuss, maximum impact.
And Morelli trying to maintain some semblance of order amidst the chaos.
Exactly. And Stephanie survives it all with her usual mix of sheer luck and pig-headed determination.
Dickie's fate gets revealed, the bad guys face justice, or at least, a few satisfying beatdowns along the way.
Yeah, and what's really insightful about the ending isn't just solving the crime, it's how Evanovich uses that chaos to reinforce who Stephanie is. She learns, maybe, but she doesn't fundamentally change. Her methods, amplified by Lula's antics and Ranger's precision, aren't just how she survives, they're how she operates in her world.
That's a great point.
The mess is the method sometimes. And naturally, the love triangle. Still gloriously unresolved. Sparks flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Leaves you hanging, wanting the next book. Her family dinners. Still awkward. Still hilarious. Thanks to Grandma Mazur and her long-suffering parents. And Stephanie herself. Still broke. Still terrible luck with cars. But still somehow saving the day. Ready for the next completely outrageous adventure. Because that's just her life now.
So putting it all together, why does this series and this book in particular continue to be so popular? Lean, Mean 13 really works because it nails that blend of suspense and just gut-busting humor. It's not just who did it, it's more like, how on earth is Stephanie going to survive this mess? And will her car explode before page 100? Readers love that ride.
They absolutely do. Fans are drawn to the slapstick, the physical comedy, the accidents. that constant simmering romantic tension between Morelli and Ranger. And Ivanovich just nails that perfect mix. Genuine danger balanced with laugh-out-loud comedy. The pacing is fast, the dialogue is sharp and witty, the characters are unforgettable, larger than life. It's the 13th book, and yet the formula absolutely still works. Because Stephanie Plum is just that kind of heroine you don't get tired of. She's flawed, she's funny, she's surprisingly brave when she needs to be, and she's always somehow just one bad decision away from the next wild ride. Her relatability, even in these crazy circumstances, that's her real magic, I think.
Couldn't agree more. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into Lean Mean 13 by Janet Evanovich. We've seen how Stephanie Plum gets tangled up in her ex-husband's disappearance, becomes the prime suspect in a murder, and has to rely on her very unconventional allies and navigate that messy love life just to survive. It's a story about resilience, about wit, and about how life rarely goes according to plan. But maybe you can laugh your way through it anyway. So now you've got the inside scoop on this really compelling mystery, packed with those unforgettable characters and nonstop humor. Gives you a real taste of why the series is such a hit. This deep dive really highlights how truth can surface in the most chaotic ways, often thanks to the most unlikely heroes. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? What does it really take to find the truth when everyone thinks you're guilty and even your friends bring their own brand of wonderful chaos? And maybe more importantly, how much chaos would you put up with in your own life for a really, really good laugh? Something to ponder.